Welcome back again. This is Fox. This is the first video in an introduction to my latest, well, it's an ongoing save I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 months. If you follow me on Twitch, link in the description, Twitch TV/FoxGaming222, you'll be well aware of this project and what's going on. I realised that I haven't been doing hardly any YouTube, well, I haven't been doing any YouTube content. I've just been focusing on streaming on Twitch. I realised that there's going to be some people that obviously follow me. Well, I know there's a lot of people that are subscribed to me on YouTube that don't follow me on Twitch. Probably about 1,000. So, I'm going to be documenting this save in videos for you guys on YouTube that don't want to watch me on Twitch or for some reason don't watch me on Twitch. But yeah, if you do, as I said, there's a link in the description. Every single part of this save has been streamed over on Twitch. I'm not a full partner yet, so the VODs only last for a month. So unfortunately, there's not a catalogue of everything that has been done on this save. Only what's been done in the last month. But yeah, let's talk about this save. This save is going to be a global population goal of 20 million. 20 million, pretty crazy. Yeah, with the introduction of the last DLC, the New World Rising and the Postal Service, it really gave us a massive boost to potential population. Bear in mind, my last save was 8.74 million. Calculations that I've been doing are for 20 million. So that's what we're working for on this save. I'm going to quickly show you one island that's finished. Talk about briefly how these islands are going to be set up, and then we'll jump over to the Anno calculator and I can talk about everything, the production and everything. So this is what I am going for, this save. I'm going for the 3-3 split. So rows of tier 3 engineers and rows of tier 3 investors. The main reason for doing this is that you can get both of them to intense panorama. You can see when you have a tier 3 investor next to a tier 3 engineer, you get intense panorama. The implications of this are many, but suffice to say you get a lot more income, loads more residents per house, which is generally what we are trying to do. We're trying to squeeze as many residents per house as possible. So yeah, every island in the old world and the Cape will be like this. Rows of tier 3 investors, rows of tier 3 engineers, supplied with everything that they need. Well, not everything, we'll talk about that later on. How I'm setting these islands up is a little bit different to what I did in my last save. I'm using the range boost. I'm using Department of Welfare for the range boost. Now you can see that enables me to power this whole island with only 2 oil power plants. This saves a drastic amount of space in regards to having probably 7 power plants if it wasn't the range boost. All of the extra train tracks that run everywhere. It's just a massive boost. It's made it easy as possible. Now, if I was going for a true max pop run, this probably isn't the best way to do it because you would want the 4th town hall slot to bring in extra population. But I've tried to make this save as easy as possible, if that's possible, when we're going for 20 million. So yeah, for that reason, I've used the range boost on pretty much all of my large islands. The second slot, this at the minute is just giving me a bit of bonus income because we're having fluctuations with the mail system. I'm still to work that out. But I will be using the Late License Act. This is a 20% reduced need for all drinks, so it's going to reduce mezcal and coffee and stuff like that. Cognac. I don't know whether it does mezcal, actually, thinking about it now. I can't remember. Well, let's find out. Somebody said in the Discord the other day that it... No, it's just rum and coffee. For some reason, it's not affecting mezcal, which is a lifestyle need. But yeah, suffice to say, we'll be using the Late Licensing Act. Just reduces the need for coffee. Now we're going to put this back to the bonus income, just to stabilise this island for a while. So yeah, there's nothing to these islands. Standard town hall layout. As many houses inside the town halls as possible. Shopping arcades. These are running at minimal workforce purposely so that they require a lot less input. They normally require 1 ton a minute per each one of these goods. So it would be 1 ton of filaments, 1 ton of steel, 1 ton of zinc to run this shopping arcade producing the toasters. When you run them at a reduced workforce, you see this has only got 23 out of the 240. It still acts as the need, so the need is still fulfilled, the department store, but it requires a lot less input for it to run. I mean, how many? We've got probably 6 shopping arcades on this island. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should be needing 6 tons of filaments. If we actually go to filaments, we only need 1 ton a minute. So this is just making everything easier. The shopping arcades run really, really slow. The inputs they need is minimal. I'm actually physically making these on Crown Falls. It wasn't worth wasting a trading slot to trade for the goods at these shopping arcades, because the entire region's probably only going to need something like 16 tons a minute. Yep, apart from that, nothing crazy. The items I will be using in the town halls are Blue Skies Delivery. Obviously, this is going to supply people with chewing gum, billiard tables, not violins, because I'm not providing them with the drugstore, but again, we'll get to that later on. Blue Skies Made, you get bonus residents from all of these goods. Typewriter, billiard tables, department store, furniture store, and drugstore. So 5 residents for each. This equates to about 50 residents in an investor for me, and I think, no, 20 for an investor and about 25 for an engineer, because of some items that I'm not giving them. The next one's Papa Paper. This gives the next biggest boost to residents. We will be supplying them all lifestyle needs. Bear fur and furs we're still working on. Perfume, film reel, everything's done in the new world. I'm not going to show you that. In case you haven't been following me on Twitch, I'm going to do individual videos for all of these goods. Film reel production is done. I've just got to ship all the saltpeter around and get it going. Lifestyle needs for engineers is chocolate. Mezcal is done. Ice cream's done. Medicine and shampoo is all done. Soap and chocolate simply needs to be traded for. We need to allocate space for that. So yeah, all in all, these islands are pretty straightforward. It's just a huge grid fit in amongst the town halls. For the mail system, we're just using these tiny little post boxes, just fitting them in where we can. This is easily producing enough mail for this island. You can see we need 283. I'm producing 848, it's telling me. So crazy. We can slim these mailboxes down as the save goes on, and we really dig in and fine tune these islands. I've got the airship platform over here with an item that boosts its loading speed. This is very important. They really do trade super low. In regards to how we're supplying these, anything and everything that can be traded for is. We are trading for it using steam carriages. These are the highest export good that you can actively trade for. So we're using an arbitrage system. Stay tuned. The next video I do after this one will be explaining the arbitrage system in its full. Suffice to say, we generate cabs for free by moving stuff between islands. We just accumulate them out of thin air by making use of this trading pyramid. We use cabs to trade for gramophones, pocket watches, dynamite, and penny farthings. We then ship these to another island, trade them back for the cabs, and we generate cabs for free. We're averaging about 2,100 cabs per Tobias's trade cycle on a large island like this. And this can pretty much trade for everything they need. This then enables us to trade for the canned food, sewing machines, fur coats, spectacles, coffee, light bulbs, champagne, cigars, even tapestries, which is a lifestyle need. The chocolate is a bit of a grey area at the minute. I'm still deciding what we're going to do with that. We may have enough advanced weapons left down the line to deal with that. But yeah, for now, that is it. Nice and straightforward, easy peasy. Spam every island with rows of 3-4 investors using the range boost. Shopping arcades running at a minimum. The electricity is ever so easily dealt with. It's being produced by the oil that's being made on the island by the mines. It's just the easiest way to run these islands. They run very easily. The only tricky thing is fine-tuning the arbitrage, but we'll get to that later down the line. So now we want Anno 1800 calculator. There will be a link in the description to this Anno 1800 calculator. It's this GitHub one. If you are a member, or are not a member of the Discord, we have Dux Vitae. He is the creator of this in our Discord. So if ever you get stuck, we need any help specifically with the calculator, I'm sure he will be willing to help. I did plan to get him on stream and talk about this calculator in detail, but somehow it's never come about. But yeah, This is what I use exclusively for my large builds, this calculator. I don't use any other. I do a couple of spreadsheets at the start when I'm planning which items to use and stuff, but when we get down to it, this calculator can do everything that you need. So let's talk about the engineers. I'm planning for 21,000 level 3 engineer skyscrapers. This is probably a bit optimistic. I got 38,500 global skyscrapers last time in my 8.74 mil save, but we had a lot more production. We had a whole island dedicated to cognac. We had a whole island dedicated to toys. Those two medium islands together are about 2,300 houses. So we're already past the 40,000 mark. Plus, I didn't have no houses on any of the small islands. I plan on having all of the small islands dotted around the old world and the Cape with houses on also. So I have conservatively the other way. So I've overestimated probably the number of houses that I'm going to be able to build, simply to make sure that we're producing enough for those. So I have got 21,000 level 3 engineers and 21,000 level 3 investors planned into this calculator. Now, these alone get us past the 20 mil. It's 9.212 plus 11.901. So this gets us to 21 million just with these. Now, that's why I'm calling this a 20 million save. I've got a feeling we're going to end up somewhere around the 40,000 mark by the time we're finished. So we should almost get to the 20 million with just engineers and investors. But then there's all the other regions that will, once we've done production for what we need, that we are then filling with houses as well. So I will have roughly 61,000 Aleros, 109,000 Obreros, 1.2 million Artistas. This again is very optimistic. This will probably end up about 900,000, and again we'll just filter production down as we get through the save. 10,000 explorers. This is just to run the gas mines. 6,000 technicians. This is to run the bear hunting cabins. 500 shepherds in Embessa. 11,000 shepherds in Embessa, and 196,000 elders. Embessa is done. This is actually about 184,000. We'll be doing an overview video of Embessa in its entirety later down the line. So right, there's not really much else to say. I'm going to do videos on the individual islands producing the stuff, so you get to see what items I'm using. I've already done one for Mezcal. The Jalia and Manola I'll do a big video on, cover everything that's on there. The real ones that are interesting that you guys are going to want to watch, motor assembly plants. These are a big pain in the ass. Ultimately, that lead to the fans. Yeah, so what I did want to talk to on this calculator is show you what is being traded for. So once you've set everything up and you allocate the trade routes inside it, you can, at a nutshell, see what is being traded for. So we will be generating heavy weapons. We will be generating 621 tons of advanced weapons a minute from our steam motor production, our fan production, and our scooter production. 621 tons a minute. That is an astronomical number. We are simply using this to supply everything that can't be traded for. Virtually everything. So these advanced weapons are going to be supplying us the rubber. 827 tons a minute. This is for things like soccer balls. I mean, like if we click on the rubber, it brings a drop down as well and tells you what you need it for. That's the beauty of this calculator. Everything's interlinked. If I go back to the advanced weapons, click on this rubber, brings us to the rubber page. We need 132 tons for ball manufactory, 621 tons for chemical plant. Ignore the coach makers. The steam cabs are logged into this, but we don't actually need them. And scooter factory. So yeah, if we remove the 101,491 tons, then this takes us back to 827 tons of rubber. 314 tons of steel a minute. This is for assembly line typewriters. We did need some for motor production as well, but I believe that's already been allocated. 621 tons a minute. Okay. Thought this had already been done in the advanced weapons. This may be a problem down the line, but yeah, we'll change this now. Advanced weapons. That should be good because I'm going to be making the jewellery. But yeah, anywho. The jewellery can be removed, so I'm going to be making that, so we still should be in a surplus. Yeah, 613 tons. We're making 621. The brass, this is for the typewriters. The glass, this is needed for souvenirs and lanterns. The felt, this is needed for artisan workshop billiard tables and bombing weavers. I may make this because it's only a small amount. I don't want to waste a trading slot for something like this that we can make in the new world. I am making what the Honoleros need already. Tapestries, this is the lifestyle needs. These advanced weapons are enabling us to trade for all of the intermediate goods so that we need for production, plus all the lifestyle needs. So this is a lifestyle need for investors. The corn, this is needed for ethanol, as is the wood. The apiary, there's a cool item that swaps out the need for... I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it might be herbs. Yeah, and the apiary is being used instead of herbs. 330 tons. This is being used for perfume mixers. Saltpeter is being used for film reels and a tiny bit for pigments. Quartz, this is for the chemical plant lacquer. Excuse me. The furs, some of these we are going to be making in the Arctic alongside the bear furs because you can actually generate bear furs from the prime hunting cabins. These light bulbs were needed for elders and the lanterns. Bombins. This is for breros and artistas. Seafood stew. Obviously, this is for the elders. Sewing machines. These are for 90 tons a minute. This must be for breros and elders. Artistas, sorry. The rest... Because this was a lifestyle need and not a regular need, I factored this into the advanced weapons and not the steam carriages. Soap, this is a lifestyle need for engineers. Cotton, this was needed for elders and bombing weeders. Clay pipes, this is needed for your elders. This is a prerequisite for extra population, even though it's a happiness good. This steel we just inputted, this was for the motor factory and the fans and that. Motor assembly plants. So yeah, advanced weapons and training for all that. We do also make 621 tons of motor assembly lines, steam motors. These are being used to trade for 785 tons of chocolate a minute. Now this is for ice cream factory. The chocolate that the engineers and investors is being traded for with the arbitrage steam carriages, you can see. Steam carriages are also being used to trade for champagne at the minute. I do have 300 roughly tons of this minute left, so I may well use this to trade for extra chocolate and divvy this around, because chocolate is the main thing we're struggling with. The amount of cabs we're generating via the arbitrage is usually leaving chocolate-ish amount left, so... With another 300 tons, I can trade for another 800 tons of chocolate. That would then get down the total to 1800-ish, which we'll have to deal with the arbitrage, which is easily doable. Yeah. Pretty crazy the amount of stuff we're generating. So all these advanced weapons can trade for everything. It's just a matter of setting up the trade routes and shipping it around. These trade routes are being dealt with on the partner islands to the large islands. You can see this one is for tortillas and bombins. These are going back to the New World. If we pick another one over here. This one is trading for champagne and light bulbs. This is going to the New World as well for them. There's loads of islands in the Cape. Obviously small islands all set up with their own trading stuff. This was sending most of the stuff to Mbessa, this island. So this is sending cotton, light bulbs for the lantern smiths, clay pipes. Glass was needed for something else as well. That was for the lanterns. Goose feathers was a need over there as well, if I believe. So yeah, all in all, this calculator is super crazy. You can input the propaganda, so we're using the full reduced needs from the newspaper minus 68%. It takes that all into account. As you put in the items that these investors are having in here, you tell it what percentage of the people on your island are inside trade town halls. So roughly 85% globally. This is actually going to be a lot higher. So we should be able to reach the population. We should be attaining more population per island than I have calculated for in the all needs. Sometimes we're getting up to like 90%. But yeah, it takes that all into account and it tells you what you need per island. Then you can use this to set up your arbitrage. So this is globally what we need for investor level 3 skyscrapers. They need 704 tons of spectacles. We're not giving them coffee. We just can't simply trade for it, and the population gained by it is minimal. I mean, it's 221,000 across the whole save, and it's 3,728 tons a minute. It's a no-brainer not to give them the coffee. Electricity, obviously, that's a given. They need 990 tons of light bulbs, just under 1,000 tons of champagne. Same for cigars. 2,112 tons of chocolate for investors. Chewing gum, 32 tons a minute. This is because it's factoring into account what's outside the town halls and are not being given it by the Blue Skies delivery. We won't be giving them biscuits or cognac. Just simply not worth it. I calculated you can actually generate more population by not having it, by having more skyscrapers in the space that would have took up to supply these than actually making it. No luxury needs apart from a members club, because they need that to get the reduced needs in drinks by the palace. Lifestyle needs, furs, bear furs, tapestries, all of the... This tells you how much mail you need. And this tells you how many population the mail generates. You can see the overseas mail generates 2.226 million. It needs 594 tons of overseas mail a minute. It's a lot. But when you look at this calculator as a whole, the overseas mail, you only need 573,000 people in the New World to generate that. With the latest DLC, that is very, very attainable. A large island fully clipped can generate about 180,000. So with 3 to 4 large clipped islands in the New World, you can generate enough overseas mail for the whole save. It's bonkers. Engineers. These need 800 tons of canned food, 2,232 tons of sewing machines, 2,000 tons of fur coats, 348 tons of spectacles, nearly 2,000 tons of coffee, 500 tons of light bulbs. This is per minute. 20 tons of chewing gum again, because this is outside the... we won't be giving them drugstore or violin. Let's drop that significantly. 400,000. We're still within the 20 million for the engineers and investors. Drugstore and violin just didn't seem worth it to me. 400,000 across the whole save. It might still be worth it. I may have to factor that in at a later date. We'll see. I'll definitely be putting them on Crown Falls, because we have the space and the needs to do it. Yep. Members Club. Engineers, the only luxury they get is a variety fitter. Again, we need this to activate the reduced needs in drinks. The calculator really is an awesome tool. Let's take, for instance, just one production line. Let's look at the fans. This breaks it down for you. It lists any item that you can use that give extra goods. So the 2 items that you could use in the fan factory, if you so wish, are Professor Rumdevi and Bruno Ironbright. And you generate all of these goods for free. So if you want to factor these in, if you know you're going to use these in your factories, you simply just click them on. The other item that I then used was a ferras. Add up the production, start the production in this top. Input any reduction in workforce, because I was using a ferras, it's 90. Then tells you how many workforce of which tier you need to make said amount of fans to supply everybody. So I need 20,000 artistas, 20,655. I needed 153 fan factories to make 609 tons a minute. This needed 609 tons of aluminium. Massive fucking ball ache, by the way. Bauxite, pain in the ass. Motors, 609 tons of celluloid. Motor assembly lines, we'll go on these. If you can clip something, it gives you an option to clip it. If you want to clip them all, make sure you clip that. It takes into account the extra goods, it doubles them up, reduces the number of workforce, obviously. Let's take a look at a fan factory quick, just so you can see what this looks like. This is my island making fans. This has got 157 fan production factories, whatever they're called, and this says we need 153, so I'm overproducing. Pretty mad. These are the items, Professor Romdevi and Bruno, the two that they highlighted in the calculator, plus the Ferras. These two are 50, which is 150. 50 from the workforce, 100 base, 100 electricity is 40. Why am I not seeing the electric pylons here? Does it not do that anymore? Oh, we don't need them. Professor Romdevi provides electricity. Somebody from my Discord, no, somebody from the stream told me that the other day. But yeah, we'll have a quick fly over the new world. I'm not going to tell you what's going on because I'm going to be covering this in great detail. You can see a whole lot of stuff been done. This is Manola. Absolutely bonkers. Making motors. Making ice cream. Making citrus. Making all sorts of stuff. Making cinnamon. Making ethanol. Yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing. This has been 26 minutes. This is a brief overview of my save. Suffice to say, we are aiming for 20 million global population in this save. It's absolutely crazy. As I say, if you want to come over and watch it on Twitch, please do. All of these production chains are pretty much done now. The only thing I've got to set in place is film reel, and then we're going to build up the last few islands in the old world. Then we start working on the Cape. I've probably got another 2-3 months on this save. I will be posting regular videos weekly to update you as to when the finale will be over on Twitch. I'd love you to come over there and see the finale, so when we actually break past the 20 million, if we get there. If I get to 19 and a half, I don't care. I'm still going to call it a win. It will be more than double my previous population goal. So, yeah, thanks everybody. Sorry for the lack of videos as up to now. As I say, I've really been focusing on the streaming, but yeah, many more videos to come. Please come over and follow me on Twitch, link in the description. Join the Discord if you haven't already, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.